What we're going to present to you is strictly hypothetical. It is based on knowledge from the Wes Penre papers, WPP, as well as expanding research we have done together, an evolving event movement, and personal insights that have made the story of how we came to be in this situation clearer and more understandable. We encourage all our viewers and readers to step back and try to hold an objective perspective on this information, and remember that everything in the universe does not necessarily work the same as it does here. We encourage everyone to have an open mind and resist being reactive. After all, we are caught in the middle of a cosmic family drama, and in order to understand how we got here, where we are going, and what to do about it, we need to look at the different sides involved in this drama, and what might have happened to create the situation we find ourselves stuck in. After all, there is always more than one perspective to any story, and we often find ourselves only concerned with the human perspective and what was done to us, rather than trying to understand what really happened. If we can understand what happened, we can have a broader perspective that will expand our awareness much more, which we feel is always beneficial to our own spiritual maturity. Let's start at the very beginning of our story. Our story begins with the source of all things, the Divine Feminine, which exists only as unlimited potential. That's all she is. In order to bring that potential out of herself and into experience, she began to express herself in different ways. She created multiple universes to explore her potential. She created multiple extensions of herself in order to experience these universes. One of these extensions was created when she put herself as a physical creation into the universe in which we exist, and was embodied into the being we have come to refer to as the Queen of Orion. We do not know if Queen is the proper title. It has been said that she does not refer to herself with this title, but is one that humans can understand, so we humans can relate to this title, as it holds her in a very high esteem and with no equal. What she really is the Mother. She sits above all others in this universe as the creatrix for all the various expressions of life that are created to gather experiences for the Divine Feminine. Remember that above her exists only unlimited potential. How does one understand or come to know what is possible without experiencing it? Thus, everything that steps down or is brought into creation from this unlimited potential is meant to experience something. This is why the notion or the idea that we can somehow return to source is false, in our opinion. Because we exist as creations who are having experiences, we can never return to being unlimited potential. We can never unlearn what we have learned, and we can never unexperience what has become our experiences. We can never return to the womb. In the womb we existed as unlimited potential as well, as above so below. No matter how hard we may try, though, we begin to have experiences from the moment of conception, when our genes determine what type of body we will experience here. We cannot unmake ourselves. It is impossible. Therefore, to try to return to source, or to a state of only potential, is not evolving. This is not why we were created, and no one ever evolved by trying to go back to their moment of creation. We are already evolved, we have just forgotten who we are and where we came from. Our Divine Mother, Queen of Orion, Queen of the Stars, is the creatrix for all that exists in this universe. If the Divine Feminine, source of all, exists as unlimited potential of thought, then this physical extension of her is the hand. She is the one who is necessary to take these thoughts and give them form. She is the hand of God. Some of the universe she created by herself. In order to expand that unlimited potential even further, she also intended to create in cooperation. Remember, if all potentials are to be explored, then all possibilities would be created. If she exists alone, then where would the co-creators come from? Where would she get another hand in creation? She would create them for herself. She would create helpmates, consorts and partners for herself according to her own intentions. She would also probably not only create just one, she would create many, all with different attributes and qualities that she felt would expand and work with that unlimited potential to its fullest extent. She wouldn't create consorts, partners, that were all the same, would she? What would be the point of that, if the intention is to use unlimited potential? No, she would create partners for herself that would have a wide variety of qualities, that would embed this universe with as many different potentials as possible. So, who were these consorts or help partners? These would be the beings we have come to know as the Archangels. From research for the WPP, we know that Archangels were created to fulfill certain tasks. Prince Ninurta, Michael, for example, was created to be a warrior and protector. This is his makeup. This is what he is created for and best suited to accomplish. We suggest that these archangels, because they are created from her, are created with attributes that she also possesses. She has just taken these parts of herself and concentrated on more or less of them to create consorts, partners, which would introduce variables into her universe for the purpose of experiences and experiment. The concept that archangels fulfill different roles or have different strengths is not unknown to us. This is a little bit of truth that we can still find here. We do not know how many of these archangels were created. We suspect 12, and there is some evidence that suggests this from ancient texts and early alternative biblical writings. It really isn't important or relevant to our situation, however, because as far as we can tell, there are only 2 involved in our situation, no matter how many names they might use. We know from the WPP research that it was the Archangel Michael who had a hand in the creation of the human experiment. This wasn't the original plan for the experiment, however. Michael was not the firstborn archangel. There was a firstborn, and it was he who was intended to be the co-creator for this experiment. He was not the co-creator, however, and his position at the side of the queen as her consort and helpmate was given to another. We do not know the name of this archangel. All we know is that he was the most brilliant. He was a scientist and geneticist. Indeed, he was created to be the best helpmate for these projects, by creating new beings with different forms and creating worlds for these beings to play in and experience. He was perfect for this because this was his purpose. This was his speciality. It was what he was born to do. We do not know why he was removed from his intended role in our creation, even though he was created to fulfill it. In giving this question much consideration and looking at various writings on the topic, from the Bible to the Urantia book, what seems to be a common theme is that this archangel developed something that was unexpected and was no longer suitable for the task at hand. He developed pride. He knew he was the first. He knew he was brilliant. He knew he had a position at the side and the hand of creation that no one else had, and his pride allowed him to elevate himself above the others, and he lauded himself for his position. He, in his own personal development, began to develop what we would recognize as the ego. The development of the ego was created in him, and it is this seed that was placed into us when he took over this experiment that rightfully should have been his to start with, his perspective. His rejection became a festering wound in his own mind, which, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became at having this rightful place taken away from him. So what did he do? He took control of the creation experiment that was meant to be his all along. He took his brilliance as a creator god and his knowledge about creating beings and worlds, and he remade this reality and took control of it. He took nothing away from us. He simply took what was already existing, us, and added himself to our makeup, artificial soul, ego, and recreated us in his image. Therefore, what was originally intended to be a creation with the mother and the father, queen and consort, became what we now know as our earthly existence, with one archangel determined to have us only know him as the Father. We are his children, as he sees it, because we were supposed to be his to start with, and we were taken away from him. As a result of his injured pride and fall from his rightful position at the right hand of God, with the queen being the left hand, he took us back. There is a lot more to be said about this. To be continued.